Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for another episode of the Anime Podcast Show. Like on the last video, I'd talked about the popularity in the USA of anime, but for this video, it would be about how did anime become popular in my shores, that would be down under Australia. Well, how, it came underway coming to this small country. It actually started, face it, it's an icon of Japan. How can we top USA and Japan? But living in an Australian culture, it goes something like this. Of course, we have to go to the very beginning, because back then, like in the US, they had broadcasts in the 60s, such as, I don't know what shows they aired in Australia at the time, but what I done research on is Speed Racer, and the most popular series would be out at that time was Astro Boy. Then moving to the late 80s, because there was nothing in the 70s, that's what I know of, to the late 80s, it would become a sci-fi fiction of a universe we're living in, going through that world, as the early days of robotic in wars to becomes a cyberpunk classics, adult contemporary stories to tell in the 1980s. Setting shows and movies, it would bring shows like Mobile Suit Gundam, Voltron, Robotech, etc. Then in 1992, it would be the start of selling these Japanese shows and movies on VHS tapes. Well, back in my days, we used to sell them in our DVD stores. The first movie in our shores, it would be Akira, but before that, our local cinemas never shown Japanimation movies. But in the early 1990s, anime would show mature content like violence, sexual references, gore, and also it would never shown that to kids. They have to watch it over ages 16 and over. With selling VHS tapes would become the first Australian distribution for anime that will be years to come. In 1996, Siren Visual will be the first company to distributing importing anime in the country, partner with Manga Entertainment. Here's a little history about that. It would expand across the US and Australia. In the US, with the purchase of LA Hero, forming as Manga US, then moving from their headquarters in London to be entered to the Australian market in late of 1993. And it would be the start of a brand around 94 to 96, as of coming through in the year of 96, and it would become the first, I would say, the full distributor and fully right management company located in Melbourne, founded in August of 1996. And that is the form of Madman Entertainment. In the same year, it started airing this particular show as us kids grew up with.
Sneaking in right on time. Only one thing on our minds. Through the door to another reality. Any place, anywhere you want to be. Cheese TV.
Yes, this show, Cheese TV. This show would air around 1995 to 2005, before being replaced by Toaster TV in 2005, towards all the way to the year of 2020 as the year of the COVID pandemic. And it axed during production and ended their run for good. And that was our lives back then, airing shows such as Crush Gear Turbo, Pokemon, Digimon, Beyblade, etc. Then towards with Toaster TV like Bakugan, Naruto, Dinosaur King, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and 5Ds. Back to distributing. Anime would continue their selling points of their releases in between, since it launched from Madman to early 2000s, from VHS tapes, from ending their market in later 2003. Around that period, it will be the start of the DVD releases in somewhere in early 98, and that will be Ghost in the Shell. And that was the first release with Mad Men. Then onwards, in 2002, Manga Pacific announced they'll release anime on DVD. But they never done it like that before. So the releases were Beyblade, Crush Gear, Zoids, Mega Man, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Then changing their name to Beyond Home Entertainment. And would release a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays of Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, in 2012, a new distributor known as Honeybee Entertainment would release for Akame ga Kill, Lupin, Toradora, Detective Conan, Fate Stay Night, etc. Now, to their streaming services, yes, it was wowed to the audience. If you don't want to buy any DVDs or anything, you can watch anime in your living room. Sit in your couch, relax, and watch your favorite series or movies, whatever you feel like. It starts kicking off with Mad Men Screening Room in, I think it launched around late 2000s, I believe. I don't remember. But anyway, the streaming services, well, they were streaming some newer shows at the time, and shows such as Attack on Titan, Fate Zero, Kill la Kill, Sword Art Online, can name a few. Not much longer on May of 2014, replacing the screening room, Mad Men decided to create their own anime streaming service known as Anime Lab. It would launch shows such as Devil is a Part-Timer, the Fate Stay Night movies, and the Unlimited Blade Works, and Attack on Titan, including streaming classics such as Naruto Shippuden, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, and Berserk, etc. Sony announced as direct for Funimation's streaming services that they are buying Mad Men Entertainment before the merger begins, and sometime in the future, Anime Lab would be no longer continue their services, moving their content to Funimation, making as Crunchyroll's streaming service as official Anime Lab, and of course, Anime Lab had shut down for good in late of 2021 to early 2022. That is pretty sad. Before closing this video of History of Anime, that I want to mention about our conventions and our cinematic movies to our big screens in our cinemas. So, before Mad Men Anime Fest happened, a super famous convention we have here is called Sumanova, or known as Sumanova Comic-Con and Gaming Convention. Now they changed it to Sumanova Pop Culture Expo, kicking off their con in Sydney on April of 2002. And actually, this year, in 2022, is the 20th anniversary of that con. It was an incredible experience, from a successor to Comic Fest in 2000 to 2002. And to this day, Sumanova is still popping, even we are out of the pandemic. Then in early 2016, Mad Men announced that a brand new con just announced called Mad Men Anime Festival as an annual con to celebrate 20 years of Mad Men. And MadFest convention ended their run in Sydney of 2020. And that was the beginning of the pandemic. That all the events were gonna occur between May of 2020 to May of 2022. And that is it. It's all cancelled all at once and being replaced by Crunchyroll Expo Australia. And I'm going, you know why? Well, if you don't know why, here's the reason for it. Due to the bloody reason is the merger of Funimation and Crunchyroll. And that's how it is. It is what it is. As I mentioned on the United States video, that I mentioned about the movies, right? Because I'd mentioned about the Pokemon, the first movie. It blew up, including us here too. And that would be the start of releasing anime films. But the trend won't start until in 2002 when Spirited Away came out. It would become a worldwide phenomena, but for us, it would not show any anime films until in the 2010s, I believe. I'd seen movies such as Dragon Ball Super Broly, Sword Art Online's 40X Extreme Special Screening, seeing Weathering with You 3 times, twice in Japanese and once in English, One Piece film Stampede, and then from the MadFest convention in 2020, screened the Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kazuna in Japanese, My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising in English, and then when we got out the pandemic, was the Last Evolution Kazuna movie in English, then a 40X experience of Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel Movie 3, then Demon Slayer Mugen Train, I've seen it twice in Japanese and once in English, and then the World Heroes Mission, and then after that, now we see the logo by Crunchyroll, and that is Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Detective Conan, Bride of Halloween, Dragon Ball Super Superhero, and the most recent movies, Gundam the Movie, Evangelion, Thrice Upon a Time, One Piece Film Red, and the quintessential quintuplets movie, well, technically 3 times in English and onwards. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for listening or watching this. I'd put the hard work to explain of how anime came to our shores in a wonderful, amazing country. I'll catch you on next time on the Anime Podcast Show. Take care of yourselves.